thank y'all for your time, okay, and being a part of this. What I'm going to do is talk about a merger that took place between Comcast and Universal. Really was actually an acquisition where they actually bought the company and some of the details about what happened there. Um, a little history on the of Comcast. They are one of the largest. Well, they are the largest cable provider in the world. I didn't realize that. I always thought it was DirecTV or something, but it's actually Comcast. And their motto is going after other companies that are failing companies and merging with them, and trying to make them better, which is actually giving them a larger footprint in the market segment. In 2004, Comcast attempted a hostile takeover of actually Walt Disney at the cost of $54 billion. And that failed because Disney said you undervalued us. So that deal fell through. So they, in turn, was looking to actually find another company to merge with. And in December 2009, Comcast mentioned plans of actually buying out the remaining shares from General Electric, who owned NBC, Universal at the time. And Comcast had 51% of the business, and they wanted the entire stake. So they actually bought out the rest of the business from General Electric to the tune of $47 billion. So now they actually own Universal NBC, which actually encompasses Universal Studios. Reasons for acquisitions. Of course, one of the reasons for acquisitions is to actually, the growth potential will be to become a leader and be more of a strategic competitor in the marketplace. Increase the diversification of your business. They were mostly a cable provider, and now they're into everything, and now the theme park aspect is what they're really going after. And to provide a greater value for its shareholders. If you have stake or shares in their business at this point, you're smiling because they're doing fairly well. And also to increase market power. Comcast they're now by the acquisition of Universal Studios, they are the largest company in the world when it comes to entertainment. They actually own NBC, CNBC, as well as several other properties, as well as the 30 Rockefeller Center in New York, which is huge, Okay, oppositions with the merger between Comcast and Universal. When they actually was going to make this deal, Earthlink at the time was like the second largest cable and internet provider. When they got word that Comcast was actually going after that portion of the market, they was opposing, saying that it was going to be more of a kind of with a hostile takeover, and that they were going to lose their market share and it'd be anti-competitive because they would own basically the whole cable internet market at the time. The National Coalition of African Americans also, who opposed, they actually felt that there were no 100% owned African American television spots at that time, and with that acquisition, it really would have pushed them out. That was one of the oppositions from their end. And the acquisition was also opposed by a number of media activists, particularly those who were against what is called vertical integration, which is one company coming in and taking over another, but it has different tiers of ideas that they do not actually have not mastered, and with the potential of the business failing a lot faster and crumbling. So, but that did not take place. They actually did very well at it. And also, one of the biggest Achilles heels for Comcast is, although they're a large service provider, their customer service is terrible, and it's known as being terrible. And as you guys know, as any market, if your customers don't like you, you're only as strong as your customers are. So that's one of their things they're dealing with now on the larger scale. This is just a snapshot of Comcast 2012 year-end financial reports. This actually will be 3 years after assuming the Universal Studios and NBC. In 2012, the consolidated revenue increased by 12%, which is huge. Their operating cash flow increased 8.8%, and operating income increased to 13.6%. In 2012, the earnings per share increased 52%. So if you're a shareholder in there, you're really happy at this point. to $2.28, excluding gains on asset sales and other adjustments, earnings per share, increased 22% to $1.93. Well, actually, an increase of $1.93 on their stocks. Their free cash flow increased from 13.3% to $7.9 billion of just cash just sitting around to buy something else. Dividends and share repurchases total $4.6 billion in 2012, and the dividends to increase 20% to 78% per share on the annual basis. $2.2 billion of the Comcast stock wasn't to be repurchased in 2013, which means that money would just sit there. Future strategic initiatives. One of the big things they're doing right now is about 8 miles away from here is Wet n Wild. I don't know if you visited Wet n Wild, the Wet n Wild Park. Well, that's one of the things that's happening. Wet n Wild used to be the largest water park in the United States. And over the years, you know, Disney has a couple of water parks, so does SeaWorld, and they're a lot smaller, but their actual visitation, or the number of attendees they get, is actually more than a dedicated water park. So with this acquisition, Comcast is actually, well, if you want to go to the water park, you need to go before December 16th, December 2016, because they're shutting it down. And they're going to build a brand new water park that's going to reclaim the largest water park in the in the world. It's going to be right down the street. So if you're in Orlando, we got another spot to visit. Comcast announced that the Wet n Wild will be closing permanently on December the 31st, 2016, and it's going to be called Volcano Bay when it's done. It will join the Universal Studios, but with a twist. The Volcano Bay will be a water theme park and resort, reclaiming the #1 spot in the industry of Comcast. Industry of the theme park water themes. This is just a snapshot of what it's going to look like. I don't know if you guys can see it, but everything's going to be centered around a huge volcano, and it's going to actually add more hotels. I think to the tune of like 3,700 rooms for 5 different hotels. So it's going to be about 15,000 more rooms, which is going to bring more revenue, of course, to Orlando. They've already spent $31 million before they even started in buying 50 acres around the facility, plus 31 extra acres to actually expand out the park and for future expansion. This is just a footprint of what it'll look like. Universal and partners at Lowe's Hotel, that's who they're partnering with now. With them and the resorts are now building the 4th on-property hotel. This one actually will have 1,800 rooms, and it'll be more their upper echelon space to actually visit when you're at the park. And it's scheduled to open in 2017, January 2017. All right. Final impressions of Comcast, the merger. From the financials and the expansion, you know, I deem that this merger was successful. The cash flows increased significantly for the city of Orlando, as just pertaining to here, but the city of Orlando, the parks, as well as Comcast. The portfolio performance per share increased by 52%, so all the shareholders and stockholders are happy with that. And, you know, disbanding and the struggling water park being Wet n Wild and replacing it with the Volcano Bay, which was going to be a 21st century theme park, is another great aspect for them at this point. And that's the end of it. Are there any questions?
You sure that with wire, when the line is gonna be closing, 19,
Yeah.
20?
In 2016, December.
2016.
Yeah, but it will be
It's already a
replaced.
decision.
That's already on the books. It's already started.
Oh, goodness.
So you might need to go today.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's going.
Comcast is gonna need some, we might all be able to look for jobs over at Comcast, because they have the worst customer service ever.
Yeah, you know, we used to live
Horrible.
here, and we used to hear that,
Yes.
and everything I read on it is like they're in the bottom like
But
40%.
They're horrible. I've had
They-
Comcast.
They increase a lot the revenue,
Mhm.
and that's because they do something new, they cut expenses, what were the main reasons?
Well,
to
part
those
of their
revenue
revenues increased just by taking over NBC, yeah, acquisition of NBC. Because they were so huge, and they own every Universal theme park in the entire world, not just Orlando. So there's some in Japan, California, they own them all now.
So
So-
basically, they put all the financial statement together, and that's why they have to.
And
Exactly.
Universal Studio has a lot to do with like movies, they do like,
Yeah.
remember
And
they
the
do a lot of big
movies.
Mhm.
movies and
So
that kind of
everything
stuff.
they're affiliated with that, yeah. it's
Can
part-
you talk about the concept behind the volcano? What is the
Well, it's
difference?
supposed to be like a tropical thing, and they still wanted to encompass a water park without having like just the big slides. So the volcano is actually gonna be an integral part of the slide. So you can be, yeah, you could be in the volcano on a slide, but it disguises as a volcano and not just your normal, tube slide, I would say. And it's supposed to be massive. They're saying like something like 8, 9 stories tall.
I was thinking volcano would have a fairly interesting connotation for a lot of people. It's not necessarily being a positive that you would attract.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
interesting.
So it'd have to be, to your point, it'd have to really come across bright, because it'll look old world,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But really, I've been here, and you show us a history about the merge. My English is not the best, but
Oh, that's fine, that's fine.
really, but I can connect why you explain us all this financial information with the final volcano,
Mhm.
and you ask me questions. So my question is, what do you want to know about us? It's about presentation, it's about the part